Suddenly, the Premier League has a Moisés Caicedo problem. But before you misunderstand, this isn't a problem with Caicedo. This is a problem for everyone else. Because right now, the Ecuadorian midfielder has become so good, so dominant, so utterly unplayable, that opposing teams simply don't know how to deal with him anymore. Welcome back, Chelsea fans. Tell us the country you are watching from. Please like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. When Chelsea paid £100 million for Moisés Caicedo in August 2023, a fee that could rise to £115 million with add-ons, making him Britain's most expensive footballer ever, Arsenal had tried to sign him, Liverpool had tried to sign him. In fact, Liverpool offered a staggering £111 million, only for Caicedo to reject them and choose Chelsea instead. Fast forward to now, and it's clear. Chelsea got themselves a bargain. Liverpool fans might still be bitter about missing out, but what they're witnessing is a player who has transformed into one of the most complete midfielders in world football. And the problem? No one can stop him. When Caicedo arrived at Stamford Bridge, the expectations were suffocating. That £115 million price tag wasn't just a number, it was a weight on his shoulders. He was supposed to be the midfield solution Chelsea desperately needed, the man to anchor Mauricio Pochettino's rebuild and justify the club's massive spending spree. But the first season? It was rough. Not terrible, but far from what you'd expect from Britain's record signing. He was solid, occasionally brilliant, but inconsistent. There were flashes of the player Brighton fans had raved about, but also moments where the pressure seemed to get to him. The problem wasn't ability, it was adjustment. New league intensity, new teammates, new system, and the constant reminder that he cost more than most players in Premier League history. Chelsea finished 6th that season, and while Caicedo wasn't a flop, he wasn't yet the world beater many had expected. Liverpool fans, watching Ryan Gravenberch develop nicely at Anfield, started the "we dodged a bullet" narrative. Arsenal supporters did the same. The debate raged. Was Caicedo worth the money? Then Enzo Maresca arrived, and everything changed. When Maresca took over as Chelsea manager before the 2024-25 season, he brought with him the tactical intelligence he'd learned from Pep Guardiola at Manchester City. More importantly, he understood exactly what Caicedo needed: a defined role, tactical clarity, and complete trust. Maresca made Caicedo the deepest midfielder in his system, the anchor, the destroyer, the man who sits in front of the defense and breaks up everything. And suddenly, freed from trying to do everything, Caicedo could focus on what he does best: winning the ball, distributing it intelligently, and controlling the tempo of matches. The statistics tell the story. His tackles per 90 minutes jumped from 2.9 to 3.6. His duels per 90 minutes reached 11.5, the highest of his career, with a success rate over 60%. His interceptions increased, his ball recovery soared, and most importantly, his confidence exploded. This wasn't just improvement, this was transformation. The dominance begins, making elite midfielders look ordinary. The moment when people truly started to realize Caicedo had become unplayable came in October 2025 when Chelsea hosted Liverpool at Stamford Bridge. This was the match where everything aligned. Liverpool came to West London flying high, their midfield led by Ryan Gravenberch, the same player often compared favorably to Caicedo, especially by Liverpool fans who claimed they'd made the right choice in not signing the Ecuadorian. Gravenberch had been exceptional all season. Liverpool were top of the league, and this was meant to be the battle of the Premier League's best young midfielders. But Caicedo absolutely dominated him. It wasn't even close. Chelsea won 2-1, and Caicedo scored one of the goals of the season, a thunderous 20-yard strike that flew into the top corner, leaving Liverpool's goalkeeper with no chance. But the goal was almost secondary to his overall performance. He was everywhere, winning tackles, intercepting passes, breaking up attacks, launching counterattacks with pinpoint long balls. Every time Liverpool tried to build through midfield, there was Caicedo, snuffing out the danger before it could develop. After the match, Sky Sports pundit Gary Neville made a bold declaration. "I think he's the best midfield player in the league at this moment in time, and I'm comfortable saying that. I think at this time, getting into October 2025, we can say Caicedo is the best midfield player in the league, and he's performing like that." Neville went further, comparing him to Arsenal's Declan Rice, Manchester City's Rodri, and Liverpool's Ryan Gravenberch, all players previously considered the Premier League's elite midfielders. In Neville's eyes, Caicedo had surpassed them all. If the Liverpool game announced Caicedo's arrival among the elite, his performance against Tottenham on November 1st, 2025, his 24th birthday, confirmed he'd become something even more special. Chelsea traveled to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium under pressure, having just lost shockingly to Sunderland at home. They needed a response, and Caicedo delivered a midfield masterclass that left even neutral observers speechless. He completed 7 ball recoveries, the most of any Chelsea player. He made 4 interceptions, the most of anyone on the pitch. He won crucial tackles at impossible angles, harrying Tottenham players from positions where he had no right to win the ball. And most importantly, he created the match-winning goal. The sequence was pure Caicedo. First, he stripped the ball from dead Spence deep in Tottenham's half. Then, as Tottenham tried to play out, he pressed intelligently and forced a backward pass. Finally, he dispossessed Mickey van de Ven and, with remarkable composure, squared the ball perfectly for João Pedro to roll into an empty net. 3 separate moments of defensive brilliance, all within seconds, culminating in the decisive goal. After the match, Chelsea goalkeeper Robert Sanchez couldn't contain his praise. "He's an actual animal. He's the best player on the planet in his position. Who's better than him in that position? He's a beast. Every 50-50, every challenge he wins and is so composed on the ball." Even more telling was Enzo Maresca's assessment. When asked if he'd swap Caicedo for any other midfielder in Europe, Maresca replied, "Moi, I think he's showing how good he is. He's top. For me, him and Rodri, in this moment, they are the 2 best defensive midfielders in the world." Think about that. Maresca coached Rodri at Manchester City. He knows exactly what world-class looks like in that position, and he's saying Caicedo is on that level.
Sky Sports pundit Jamie Redknapp went even further. World-class. I would go as far as to say right now, the best of his type in world football. Just absolutely phenomenal. When you're playing as a defender and you've got someone like that hoovering up in front of you, it's just a dream. An absolute dream. If there were any lingering doubts about Caicedo's status among the world's elite, his performance in the FIFA Club World Cup final against Paris Saint-Germain erased them completely. PSG arrived in New Jersey for the final as arguably the best team in world football. They'd won the Champions League 5-0 against Inter Milan, dominated League One, and both did a midfield trio that included some of Europe's finest talents. They were expected to overwhelm Chelsea. Instead, Caicedo and his teammates delivered a tactical masterclass, winning 3-0 in a performance so dominant that PSG barely created a chance all match. Caicedo was everywhere. He tracked back to make tackles from impossible angles. He stepped up aggressively to win the ball high up the pitch. He controlled the tempo, dictating when Chelsea would press and when they'd sit. Most remarkably, he didn't lose possession once all game. Perfect ball retention against world-class opposition, pressing relentlessly. ESPN's Don Hutchinson highlighted Caicedo's underrated contribution to the victory, noting that while Cole Palmer got the headlines for his 2 goals, it was Caicedo who made everything possible by neutralizing PSG's midfield threats. After the final, FIFA's technical team awarded Caicedo the bronze ball, recognizing him as the third best player of the entire tournament. Chelsea won the Club World Cup, and at the heart of that triumph was their $115 million midfielder, now looking like the bargain of the century. Why he's become unplayable. So what makes Moisés Caicedo so difficult to play against? Why has he become the Premier League's biggest midfield problem? 1. His positioning is supernatural. Watch Caicedo for 90 minutes, and you'll notice something remarkable. He's always in the right place. When the opposition attacks, he's there to intercept. When Chelsea need an outlet, he's available. When danger develops, he's already moved to cover it. This isn't luck, it's elite reading of the game. 2. His engine is relentless. Caicedo covers every blade of grass. 11.5 duels per 90 minutes means he's constantly engaged in physical battles, yet he maintains this intensity from the first minute to the last. Opponents can't tire him out because he simply doesn't get tired. 3. His tackling is surgical. He doesn't just win tackles, he wins them cleanly, retaining possession for his team. His tackle success rate of 56% might not sound spectacular, but when you're attempting 3.6 tackles per 90 minutes in the most intense league in the world, that's exceptional. Watch him win the ball from behind players or stretch his leg around opponents to nick the ball away. These aren't desperate lunges, they're calculated interventions. 4. His ball retention is elite. One of the most underrated aspects of Caicedo's game is that once he wins the ball, he keeps it. His pass completion rate is 89%, exceptional for a defensive midfielder who often receives the ball under intense pressure. He's press-resistant, comfortable with both feet, and capable of playing simple or ambitious passes depending on what the situation requires. 5. His versatility is a tactical weapon. Maresca has even deployed him at right back in certain matches when Chelsea need extra control, and Caicedo has excelled there too. This flexibility makes him almost impossible to plan against because he can fulfill multiple roles within a single match. Let's look at the numbers that prove Caicedo's ascendancy. 321 tackles in his Premier League career so far, 152 interceptions, 733 recoveries, constantly winning the ball back for his team, 694 duels won, a phenomenal success rate in physical battles, 4 goals in 14 matches this season, showing that he's not just a destroyer, but also a creator. Compare those numbers to other Premier League defensive midfielders, and you'll see why managers and pundits are running out of superlatives. He's in the 90th percentile among central midfielders for defensive actions when adjusted for possession. That's elite company. Moreover, he was Chelsea's Player of the Season for 2024-25, and he's the only Chelsea player to have started all 38 Premier League fixtures that season. That level of reliability, week after week, month after month, is what separates the good from the great. Here's where we return to the title. The Premier League has a Moisés Caicedo problem. Tottenham's problem. They couldn't string together any meaningful attacks because Caicedo shut down their midfield completely. They managed just 0.05 expected goals, their lowest of the season. Liverpool's problem. Even with Gravenberch playing well, they couldn't cope with Caicedo's dominance. He outplayed a player many considered his equal, proving that there are levels to this game. Manchester United's problem. When Caicedo scored against them with a stunning volley, it was a reminder that he's not just a defensive specialist, he can hurt you offensively too. Arsenal's problem. They wanted him, missed out on him, and now have to face him multiple times a season. Declan Rice is exceptional, but even he would struggle to match Caicedo's current level of performance. The problem is simple. You can't man-mark him out of the game because he's too mobile. You can't outmuscle him because he wins every physical duel. You can't press him because he's comfortable under pressure. You can't go around him because his positioning is too good. You can't go through him because he'll win the ball cleanly every time. The truly terrifying thing for Premier League opponents, Moisés Caicedo is only 24 years old. He just turned 24 on the day he bossed Tottenham in their own stadium. Think about that. Most defensive midfielders peak in their late 20s when their physical attributes combine with tactical maturity. Caicedo is already performing at a world-class level, and he's got another 5 or 6 years before he even reaches his prime. He's also remarkably durable. No major injuries, consistent availability, and he plays with an intelligence that suggests he'll age gracefully because he doesn't rely solely on physicality. As Sanchez noted, as a player and as a character, he's always been the same. Hard work, effort, quiet, but a very good guy. His confidence has gone higher and higher. He's a boss at winning the midfield. The Premier League has a Moisés Caicedo problem, and there's no solution in sight. Chelsea have finally found their Claude Makélélé, their N'Golo Kanté, that rare defensive midfielder who single-handedly makes everyone around him better. The $115 million that seemed excessive in 2023 now looks like shrewd business. Liverpool and Arsenal fans who mocked Chelsea for overpaying are now watching their team struggle to cope with him twice a season. Enzo Maresca calls him one of the 2 best defensive midfielders in the world. Gary Neville calls him the best midfielder in the Premier League. Jamie Redknapp says he's the best of his type in world football. Robert Sanchez simply calls him an animal. They're all right. Moisés Caicedo has become unplayable, unstoppable, and utterly dominant. He's running midfields, controlling matches, and making elite players look ordinary. And the scary part is he's only getting started. The Premier League has a Moisés Caicedo problem, and for everyone except Chelsea, that problem isn't going away anytime soon.